What's up, E3 members? Excited to be sitting here with Iceman and Maverick. So we're going to talk a little bit about what you guys are doing, but we're going to kind of get like the inside scoop because obviously you guys have been really busy over the last year or so. I mean, it's not easy flying jets, it's not easy going around, but you guys have had a busy year.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think it started after ICAST with the air shows.
Yeah, just non-stop doing events. Can you real quick tell me, all right, obviously we're sitting here at Maverick and Iceman, but tell me a little bit about your background and how you got into this.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a former architect.
Really?
And I was studying at UCLA, and I heard every single day I looked like Tom Cruise. So I'm like, I got to do something with this, you know. One gig led to another, moved down to San Diego, and boom, like it just exploded. So it became a full-time job.
Yeah.
It's been 13 years now I'm doing this.
Not an easy thing though to jump me from architecture. Did you have a acting desire? Or
Not at all,
passion?
no. I'm actually an introvert.
Yeah. Okay.
And I had to really get out of my comfort zone to do in-person events like that, which was very helpful for both careers, you know.
I'll say, obviously you're in front of big crowds too, so that's kind of cool. A lot of people listening, you know, it is always uncomfortable to put yourself out there, especially with things that is not necessarily a natural interest or talent for you.
Absolutely.
What, did you just like say, hey, I got to get over this and embrace this, or was there anything that just kind of pushed you to like?
No, just, you know, did one gig and word of mouth led me to another one, and it's just, I kept getting the calls. And right now my ego is writing checks my body can't cash.
I love it. Iceman, how about you? How'd you get involved in this?
So I met Jerome about 6 years ago. I was on vacation in Coronado with my daughters, and I was like, hey, let's go to the Top Gun bar where they filmed the movie. So we were sitting there, and he walked in, and I was like, we got to sit on the piano and do this. So we made the song, You Shake My Nerves.
Then you rattle my brain. Great
And-
balls of fire.
And that video just kind of took off. And so then I went on the Midway with him, and I put a flight suit on, and we did the movie scene. And one thing led to another. And I think it really hit big after Top Gun Maverick. And then we did the Coronado Parade and Midway, and just after that, it just exploded. Went to ICAST.
Leading up to the release of Top Gun Maverick, was it starting to build? Were you guys doing events for the release? Or was it, I mean, once, no kidding.
I was already doing events on my own, being in San Diego. I mean, Top Gun theme is such a popular theme, you know, being the best of the best in the top 1%. It's something that companies go for to give awards, you know, and all this.
Yeah.
So I was already doing this on aircraft carriers or even Miramar itself.
Right. But now it's just like a whole nother level, I would
Well, it's
imagine.
another level because it touches like, you know, air shows like this one, Sun and Fun, and it's incredible. I think the sky is the limit right now.
Yeah, that's awesome. You were just telling me before we started hit record, just like your week, this week and next week, how busy it is. Can you run me through like what a day in the life of, like
Yeah, absolutely.
what the month looks like?
I mean, what a month ago? No, it was 2 weeks ago. We were. I was at the Oscars, and 2 weeks ago, after that, I went to a gig with Kenny Loggins in Sarasota. Then went back to San Diego, did a couple conventions, came here for this whole week. I'm flying back to San Diego today. Tomorrow we got conventions together. Air and Space Museum, flying to Texas, and then Montreal for a TV show.
Man, that's
Yeah.
nonstop.
And then we're going to do Dias this April
Yeah,
air
that's
show.
right.
Oh, Dias by the Sea.
Yeah,
We're doing a Dalhart in May.
Yeah, that'll be good.
Yeah.
yeah. So over a dozen air
Dias is
shows.
in May. That'll be about 100 degrees. And
Dias is April, and then Dalhart is in May.
Okay.
But our character sweats the whole movie, so we're good.
That's perfect. When you go to these events, and I guess it probably just varies what you're doing, but I imagine you're taking a lot of photos and doing a lot of talks.
Lots of photos, and now I got to do a little more emceeing, and so that's fun, you know, using the Maverick persona to be a motivational speaker, you know. You guys have the real stories, I pretend to have them, but always based on, you know, the movie Top Gun. Never leave your wingman behind if he's running out of fuel. So according to the mission of the company, I will always incorporate like a skit, and it works very well.
Yeah, I love the character blend back and forth, in and out. I want to talk the Oscars, 'cause I did see that. That was kind of interesting. You know, you mentioned like, I mean, you're national world television, packed full of movie stars there. Can you tell me how the Oscars, how that was for you?
I mean, it was unexpected. I flew to New York to be on Live with Kelly and Ryan to do a skit as Maverick. Like Jimmy Fallon did a Top Gun skit as well. Jimmy Kimmel, and they wanted to do the same thing, but they wanted to use an impersonator. So they used me. But when the Oscars were approaching, they say, "Why don't you come?" And I said, "Okay." You know, they probably want me to take pictures and all this, but they was to thank me in front of the whole crowd, and that was really appreciated. It was like, you know, after 13 years of doing this, to recognize that appreciation, it felt very, very grateful.
It's very cool. Maybe you can talk about this, maybe you can't, but if you can't, it's fine. I'm curious, is there any issues, is like the movie studio, because I don't know how any of this stuff works, but do you ever catch any flack for being out there and doing stuff like this, or how's it looked upon?
We haven't so far. I mean, beside the fact that my social media get deleted like here and there, but that's more meta. It's just Facebook and Instagram, and they don't respond back, but we don't know. So far, so good.
That's why I've had friends who, you know, they get these spoofer accounts that pop up, and then their real account gets reported, and then their real account gets deleted. And there's like there's no recourse. Like you can't talk to a human being. That's kind of a pain when you spend all that time and energy. Kind of interjected here. People are trying to find you. Speaking of social media, what's the best place to find you? What's the best place to find you, Iceman?
Absolutely.
Instagram, the Arizona Iceman.
The Arizona Iceman on Instagram. Okay. And how about you?
And my website is CaliforniaTomCruise.com. My email is CaliforniaTomCruise@gmail.com, and it's the same handle for Instagram and TikTok.
Okay.
So I'm about like 740,000 followers on TikTok. So that I do a lot of promotional videos on that platform, and it helps just, you know.
Yeah, expand the reach and find you out there.
And having fun. You know, we're doing this, and it sounds cheesy, but bringing back that loving feeling is putting a smile on people's face. Yep. You know, so many people watch Top Gun who grew up in the 80s, and it brings that nostalgia. And what do we reminisce about? The past. Oh, the past was so good, right? So that's what Top Gun does. That's what our characters do when they meet us. It's like, wow, they just look exactly the same, and it brings you back in the past. And I know we look younger in person, but it's just, when you pull 10.4 Gs, it's like a facelift up there.
I love it. Well, I mentioned before we started recording, you know, my son got a photo with you yesterday, and that was like the highlight. He sat in 2 Mustangs yesterday, he sat in a PBY, he sat in a Corsair, and that was the highlight. But, you know, for me, I watched Top Gun as a kid, then I became a fighter pilot, and then we took him to see Top Gun Maverick. You know, we had to say, hey, there's gonna be some movie words in there at the end. It's like, what'd you think of it? He goes, it was amazing. I'm like, what was the best part? He goes, obviously the jets. And he's like, I want to be a fighter pilot. I'm like, why? So I can say bad words when guys shoot at me. I was like, we might have missed the point there, buddy, but it's cool. It inspired, I think, I know the military, I think the world needed Top Gun Maverick to come out. Such a phenomenal job. So.
And it's a privilege to feel like we're, you know, promoting the movie, but also, you know, the military for people to enlist and serve our country.
Well, you bring the connection, in my opinion. You connect people with the movie. Otherwise, you know, by being here at Sun and Fun, I mean, everyone is always walking up to you guys, getting a photo, and I think that's a testament. Obviously, people love what you're doing. I think it's a really cool thing to kind of carry this on and keep it going. So it's cool.
It's a good synergy.
Yeah, it's impressive. I mean, you got the genes for it, both of you, to look like it. You know, Tom, I don't think he's aged yet, so hopefully you keep that going. I want to mention too, so I was at the Bash the other night, which is a fundraiser here at Sun and Fun. I saw that you do some art, and to me it was super impressive. I have zero artistic ability whatsoever, but can you tell me a little about your art and passion there?
Well, being a former architect, I love to draw, and I've been doing this for my whole life. So when it comes to doing events as Maverick, I always try to help, you know, in other ways, especially for charities and like Sun and Fun. I figured, why not bring a painting that I will auction, and all donation goes to Sun and Fun. And so I started doing a Top Gun series, and I did the helmet profile wise and facing wise. I've got a couple jets as well, but I decided to bring the Top Gun helmet to auction, and it was great to see it right there.
Can people commission your artwork? Can they find?
Absolutely. Oh yeah, I do custom artwork of classic cars, but also aviation. So if you have like, you know, a Mustang, you know, that you love the propeller, the wing, like, you know, I come and do my own photography and do the paintings based on that.
Yeah, Adrian Members, you have to go check that out. I saw it, I was like, All right, one day we'll talk about commission and the prices and things like that. I might need to win the lottery, but it's incredible just seeing
thank you.
that
I
work, just
appreciate
seeing
that.
all this kind of tie together. All right, before we wrap up here, I wanted to ask, again, it's kind of inside scoop. Are there any challenges? What's the toughest part of doing this?
The toughest part, wow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty enjoyable. I don't know.
Yeah.
The toughest part.
Making sure that we're sticking to the schedule, because a lot of times when we do an event,
Correct, yeah.
we'll get pulled in so many different directions, and a lot of times it just comes down to timing. Because sometimes it's like we think we missed something, but then we did something better, and
And so far, timing has been pretty good for us.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can attest, having done a lot of air shows and even doing this week, it's like, you almost have to have a handler that's right there with you
Yeah.
to keep moving you around, or when you get anchored,
Yep.
taking a photo or in a conversation, going to the next event, that like, hey, we're 5 minutes late, just to kind of keep it going, or to
Yeah.
be the bad guy to say, hey, we gotta kind of go. You guys are definitely in that world for sure.
Yeah, getting there, yeah.
we got Janine, she's doing all right.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Jeannie's great, yeah.
Great human being, great to be here. Well, guys, it was great sitting down with you. Is there anything
Great.
before we wrap up, if people need to find you again, hit that, or any
Yeah,
takeaways?
CaliforniaTomCruise.com. And
The Arizona Iceman.
And that's on Instagram, right?
And I would
Yeah.
say everyone out there, you got to attend Miramar this year, because they're going to let him ride his motorcycle against an F-18. It's going to
on
be
the
epic.
flight line, yeah.
That Miramar, I've never flown in that show. I've never been to that show. I've had a lot of buddies who have flown in it, and it's a massive,
Yeah.
it's a massive
Oh, yeah.
show.
Yeah.
I think
And-
it's probably one of the biggest military shows. The fact that people can
And-
get on base and do that's really cool.
And being in what we call Fighter Town, USA, it's really cool, the history of
that's ground zero. That's the nucleus for where all this
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
happened. So it was awesome. Gents, thanks for joining me. It was
Thank
fun
you.
to chat with you and learn to get a little inside
Thank you,
scoop.
Rain.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Be my wingman anytime.
bullshit. It could be mine.
I love it. Each remembers, I hope you enjoyed this. We'll catch you next time.